Well, afternoon again, Year 11. This video is obviously for GCSE students, those people watching it and anyone sad enough to watch this just in their own free time. Last one I'm going to do is causes of the Wall Street crash. Now, you know, to go alongside the causes of the boom, the reasons for the crash are fairly similar. They just are things that have gone too far. Now, I'm going to start with the long-term ones. The big long-term ones were land value prices, which started to drop, which basically was one of the underlying factors for the cause of the Wall Street crash. We won't get into the ins and outs of it, but if you mention that as a long-term cause of the Wall Street crash, that's ideal. You also had overproduction. Companies were producing consumer goods at a rate of knots, produced too many, couldn't sell them abroad, therefore couldn't basically make any money, couldn't pay the workers who were being paid to produce the goods that they couldn't sell. So that was another factor behind the Wall Street crash. Easily available credit goes along line with that. Basically, too many people were buying various different consumer goods, various things like cars and all the rest of it, on credit, which eventually they couldn't pay back. And also, a lot of people who had taken credit didn't actually have the money to pay that back anyway. So easily available credit is a massive reason for the Wall Street crash. Also, falling consumer demand is a huge one. By the end of the 1920s, basically everybody who could have consumer goods did have consumer goods. Other groups like black Americans, immigrants, the poorest people in society were not able to afford these consumer goods, which meant there was a lot of overproduced things that they weren't able to access, they weren't able to buy. So that consumer demand, which had basically caused the boom in the first place, started to drop. Another major factor, and I would consider this to be a long-term one, is the policies of the presidents. The presidents had ignored the stock market. They'd ignored anything to do with businesses, laissez-faire, leave it alone. Remember, Harding, Coolidge, Hoover had all basically just ignored business and let it roll on for itself. And it's a major reason, because of their lack of interference, why the problems in the stock market emerged. Now, the major one really is the stock market. So put it as over-speculation here, we'll call it panic, we'll call it loss of confidence, whatever you want, but it's basically people have been buying on the margin, which means borrowing to purchase shares. And the problem with that is that that was on the assumption that the price of shares would always go up. So basically, if there was ever a loss of confidence and the price started to fall, people would start to panic, which is exactly what they did on these 2 days, Black Thursday and Black Tuesday. People gradually began to realise that, oh no, the price of the stocks and shares are falling. And so they automatically went out and tried to sell things as quick as they could, which meant that 13 million changed hands on the Thursday and 16.5 million changed hands on the Tuesday, which caused the actual Wall Street crash of 1929, where basically companies were wiped out and the stock market collapsed completely.